friends, my name is Anthony Christian and I am here on behalf of Sambhavi Technoscience, and I am going to teach you English subject for class 10 and class 9. And today's topic that I am going to teach is very important for class 9 and class 10. It is modal verbs. So let's learn what is modal verbs. First of all, let's learn the meaning. Modal verbs, they are auxiliary verbs with special meaning. Okay. Two things you have to remember here. Number one, they are auxiliary verbs, and number two, they have special meaning, and that is why they are very important to learn. Okay, so what is auxiliary verb and what is the difference between auxiliary verb and helping verb? Actually, auxiliary verb works as helping verb in the sentence, but it is different from helping verb. Helping verbs which are do, does, did, these are the helping verbs. Okay, but auxiliary verbs, they are in the place of helping verb, but it has a special meaning. For example, can, may, might, these are the auxiliary verbs, and the word itself has a special meaning. The position of verb in the sentence, it is after subject and before main verb. It is just the same position of helping verb also. And I told you that it has a special meaning also. So all the modal verbs, for example, can, could, may, might, all of them has special meaning also. Okay. So let's see the position once again. It is subject first, and after that modal verb, and then main verb. Remember, the position will always be the same. It is always before main verb. It is never after main verb. Okay. Now let's see some rules, some form of modal verbs, that whenever we are using modal verbs, we don't put s. We don't put s after main verb, which we normally do it with the other sentences. For example, he plays cricket. What I have done, I have put s after main verb. But in this case, when we have modal verb, we cannot put s after modal verb. For example, he can work. He cans. I cannot put s because it is modal verb. It is auxiliary verb. Just like helping verb, I can put s, es. For example, do and does. He does. But in auxiliary verbs, we cannot put s or es after it. That is why auxiliary verbs are different from helping verb, and obviously it is different from main verb. Okay. Then number two, we also don't have do or does. Normally, when do we put do or does? When we are making it negative, or when we are making it question sentence, we put this helping verb do or does in the sentence. For example, did you do your work? Okay, or do you do your homework? What I have done, I have put do as helping verb. But when there is modal verb, we don't put do or does as helping verb. For example, I can do my work. Can I do my work? I just have to put the auxiliary verb first. I don't have to add helping verb do or does when we are making question or when we are making negative. And number three, when we are making negative also, we don't need to put do not and does not, because whenever we are making negative of auxiliary verb, we just put not immediately after auxiliary verb. For example, can becomes cannot. May become may not. I don't have to say don't can make. No, I just have to say can not make. Okay. So these three things, remember, with the verb, main verb, we don't need to put s. With the interrogative, we don't need to put do, does. And with negative, we don't need to put do, don't and does. So this is modal auxiliary verbs. Now another important thing is that we learn the meaning. Why do we need to learn the meaning? Because each and every modal verb has a special meaning also, and their special usage also. And in exam, how the question will come? In exam, they will ask you, fill in the blanks will be there, and there will be 3-4 options will be there. All the modal verbs are quite similar. Now you need to choose the appropriate modal verb and put it in the fill in the blank. And if you don't know the meaning of that modal verbs, you cannot write the correct answer. That is why it is important to learn the meaning. Okay. Now let's see the meaning. So in the meaning, I have 5 categories. Number 1, possibility and probability. Number 2, ability. These are the major meanings of modal verbs. Probability and possibility. Number 2, ability. Number 3, permission. Number 4, obligation, which is also called duty. And number 5, offers, which is the help. Okay. Now, first model that we are learning is can. Can, which is the most popular modal verb, and the meaning, number 1 is ability and number 2 is permission. Can be used for ability. When you say I can do this, it means I have the ability to do it. Okay. Number 2, it is also used for permission. When you say can I come in, sir, it is correct sentence, but in that case you are not asking your ability, that I have the ability to come in, but you are asking permission. Can I come in? It is used for permission. Okay, so 2 meanings. Number 1, ability, and number 2, permission. That is for can. Okay, the second one is could. Number 1 meaning for could is that could is used for the past tense of can. When you say I can do it, in past tense you can say I could do it. That is number 1 use. Number 2, it is also used for probability and possibility. When you say it could rain, it means there is a probability or there is possibility that it will rain. So that is, it is used for probability and possibility also. Number 2, it is also used for ability, but it is used for ability in the past. I could do this work. So it is ability in the past. Number 3, could can be used for permission also. Now let us see what is the difference between can permission and could permission. When you are using can as a permission, you are not so polite, but when you are using could for permission, your sentence is very polite. Instead of saying can I come in, you can say could I come in please. It is very polite way of saying, asking permission. Okay, so 3 places where could can be used. Number 1, it is used for probability, possibility. Number 2, it is used for ability, but remember ability in the past, not in the present. And number 3, it is also used for permission in very polite form. Okay, now third one, it is may and might. May is used for number 1, probability and possibility. When we are saying may, it means you have 50% probability. When I say it may rain today, it means there are 50% chances that there will be rain. And might is also used for probability and possibility, but might has weaker probability. For example, when I say it might rain, it means there is only 20 to 30% chances that there will be rain. When I say I shall come to your party, it means I am giving you 100% assurance that I will come to your party. When I say I will come, my probability chances are 80%, 80 to 90%. When I say I may come, it means my chances of coming 50%. And when I say I might come, it means my chances to come there is only 20 to 30%. So that is, all of them are for probability, but one has stronger probability, one has weaker probability. So that is may and might. It is used for probability and possibility. May, strong probability, 50-50, and might has weaker probability. And may is also used for permission also. Just like can I come in, you can also say may I come in. Okay, and when you say may I come in, it is permission in a also polite form. Okay, but might I come in? No, we cannot use it. Okay. May is used for permission. Might, permission is very weaker probability, so we don't use it for permission. Okay, so may is used for probability, possibility and permission. Now next one is must. Must can be used for probability and possibility also, which is quite strong. For example, it must rain today. It means anything will happen, there will be rain. Number 2, it is also used for obligation. What is the meaning of obligation? It is duty. Actually, must is used for strong obligation. For example, concerning the law, let's say law, you must have license when you drive. So it is law, it is rule, somebody has made it, and in that case we use must, which is very strong obligation. Okay, so must is used for probability, possibility, and it is also used for obligation. Next, have to. Now have to is also used for obligation, but it is not as strong as must obligation. Okay, for example, have to, you can say it is a kind of moral obligation. For example, I have to do my homework because my teacher has told me. It is not the law, but it is somebody who has told you, and that is why you have to do it. So it is less than must obligation. It is little bit less. And should, next one is should and ought to, which is also used for obligation. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now here you need to understand all of them are used for obligation. So in sentence, how will you find out which one is the correct answer? So remember, must is very strong obligation. So, have to, it is little bit less than must, and then should is also called moral obligation. Okay, moral obligation, it means, for example, I should clean my house. It means is nobody has told me to do it, but it is just my duty, it is my obligation, that is why I am doing it. So should and ought to, you can say it is moral obligation. Okay, and then we have the last one, it is would. Would can be used for offer. Would is also past tense of will. Whenever you are using will, especially in indirect speech, will become would. But would can be used for polite form also. I would like to come to your house. In that way you are asking a permission, but in a very polite way, and you are offering a help also. I would like to help you. I want to help you is not polite, but I would like to help you, it is polite form, and that shows the offer. So that is would. Okay, so these are the meaning, very easy to understand here. Normally they are in these 5 categories, and if you know, if you learn this table, you will understand the meaning of all the models very easily. Okay, now one more thing that you need to learn is that tenses, modal verbs doesn't have all the tenses. Okay, normally we have 12 tenses, and modal verbs we don't have all the tenses. We only have 3 tenses that we are learning in modals, and all 3 tenses I have written here. Number 1, modal is used for simple present tense, and in simple present tense what will be the structure? The structure is subject plus modal plus V1 plus object. V1 is the first form of verb. Okay, for example, I can do my work. I can do my work, that is the structure. Okay, that is simple present tense. Now when I want to make past tense sentence in with modals, I don't need to change the structure, I just need to change the modal verb which is in the past form. For example, can, could. Now I can say I could do my work. Okay, so there is no structure for past tense, it is the same structure, only that the modal verb which is in present tense, we now use the past tense form of modal verb, which is could, should, would. These are the past tense, or had to, these are the past form of modal verbs. Okay, okay, in the same manner when we make it negative, remember we just put not in between modal and V1. For example, subject plus modal plus not plus V1 plus object. For example, I cannot do my homework. Question format, we first put the modal and then subject and then V1 and then object and then question mark. Can I do my work? That is the format for simple present tense. Now let's go to the second tense, which is present continuous tense. When we think of continuous tense, what do you remember? It means the action is going on. Okay, now with modal, how can we use continuous tense? The format is very clear here. Subject plus modal plus be plus V4 plus object. V4 means the ing form of verb. That is the fourth form. Subject, for example, let's take one could. Could is our model. So he could be working now. He could be working by now. That is my sentence. Okay, what I have done, I have put be as linking verb here. Remember, modal is our auxiliary verb, be here as linking verb, and this is the main verb which is in the form of V4. Okay, in the same manner when we are making it negative, what do? We just put not here. Remember, and not in between modal and be, never after be. It is always before be and after modal. For example, he could not be working by now. Or if we are making it question format, we will take the modal first, subject second, then be, then V4, and then there is object. Could he be working by now? That will be your sentence. That is continuous tense. Okay. And the third tense that we have in modal verbs, it is past tenses. Now in this past tenses, the structure is totally different. This past and this past is different. Okay. In this past we have all the modal verbs that can be used, and the format is like this: subject plus modal plus have. Here we are adding one helping verb, one linking verb rather, have plus V3, the third form of verb, and then there is object. For example, he could have finished his work. He could have finished his work. Okay, and when I want to make it negative, what I will do, I will just put not in between modal and have. So I will put not here. He could not have finished his work, and in question format I will take the could modal verb at the first, and then subject, and then there is have, there is V3, there is object, then there is question mark. Could he have finished his work, like that. Okay, so we only have 1, 2 and 3 tenses. Remember, we don't have any other tenses. There is no perfect tense, there is no perfect continuous tense. No, we only have this 1, this is 2, and this is 3 tenses. Now this is modal verbs. Now if you understand the meaning and you know the structure, then you have won and you have covered the topic of modal verb. So this is all about modal verb. If you have any question, you can ask me. So let us revise this topic once again. Modal verbs, we have learned everything, but just a revision. So first of all, modal verbs, the meaning is it is auxiliary verb with the special meaning. Okay, the structure will be, the basic structure is subject, then there is modal, and there is verb. Always the structure is the same. With the tenses it will change little bit. And then we don't put s after verb, we don't put do or does as helping verb, we also don't put do not and does not. Then we have learned the meanings also: can, could, may, might, their meanings in probability, ability, permission, obligation and offers. And then in last we have learned the structures also, structures in present tense, in structure in continuous tense, and structure in past tense, positive, negative and interrogative. Remember that in all of them the place of modal is immediately after the subject. Okay, it is immediately after the subject, only that in continuous tense we have to add linking verb be, and here linking verb have, and then main verb present tense V1, main verb in continuous tense it is V4, and main verb in past tense it is V3. So this is all about modal verbs. Thank you so much.